Hello out there in podcast land, ladies and gentlemen. You hear that wolf howling? You know what that means. It's time for us to go hunting the shadows. Welcome aboard tonight. I am your ghost host with the most, Mr. Dennis Carroll. And this is another episode of Hunting the Shadows coming right at you. And boy, we've got some weird shadows to hunt tonight, folks. Absolutely, I promise you that. We got some really strange ground to cover. And here's the most weird, scariest part of all, okay? Without any supposition, this stuff that we're going to talk about tonight is probably absolutely 110% true stuff, folks, okay? I mean, the real deal stuff here. It's not just something that somebody thinks about, or maybe they think it might be this or that. And we've got some proof for you tonight. Absolutely. I want to welcome you all aboard. And welcome you all so much. I want to give a good shout out to, let me pull this up here. I'm going to get my layout up here. There we go. How much I've got your comments added to the screen tonight, okay? So you can see yourself, all right? And your comments anyway. I want to welcome you all aboard. Welcome, Shiro, of course, the lovely Shiro, and my brother Midwest Night Watcher, and the girl on her gong, and Annie, and Jose, and oh Lord, we're getting the full house tonight. That's good. Hello, Cal, Don Morris, good to have you here. Want to, of course, recommend that you watch our good friend Jessica Jones today. If you missed her show, she had a splendid one on reptilians. Go back and check it out on her channel. Show her some love and check out the Cryptid Huntress. Okay, do that absolutely. And also, don't forget our good friend Gerald, who we had a fantastic show Monday. It was great. If you missed that, you need to really go back and check that because that was great. Ghost on the Go, haunted hotels and restaurants. Boy, we covered that very close. Absolutely. And it was fantastic. It really was. Well, thank you there, Danette. Thank you for that $9.99 sticker so much. Appreciate that, dear. That helps us out a whole lot. We're trying to get to reach our quota for this month. If you don't get so much in a month, you don't get paid. Okay, so we're trying to reach our quota, and that helps us out a whole lot, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, check out Gerald's store. He has a store. Yes, he does, and check it out when you get a chance. Let me go back off of full screen here because I'm going to have to look at some of your comments a little bit closer here because I may have to put up some links here. And thank you so much for that, Danette. Thank you so much. She's a great supporter of this show. Thank you. That is very much appreciated, my dear. And also, want to let you know that Danette, I think you have ordered a Star of the Seven Archangels that's on the way to you very soon. And be looking for it. And I got bad news on that, folks. There are no more. That's it. Unless you have ordered some in the last week and the check is in the mail for the last week. That's it. There's no more. Okay. We don't know if we'll ever have any more, but I wanted to let everybody know that right off the bat. Definitely. That's the end of that item. So if you missed out, you missed out. Sorry. Sorry about that. That's life, isn't it? You got to jump on it when you can. That's the way it goes. Well, tonight we're talking about. Here's what I'm going to say, folks. Move over, Bigfoot. Get out of here, Sasquatch. Move out of the neighborhood, dog man. You got competition, buddy. You got the blue people of Appalachia. Oh, thank you for that, girl on her gone. Thank you for that $9.99 sticker, dear. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Made that quote. Thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely. That's going to go a good ways to help. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yep, we got something else to worry about out there. Now I want to tell you something, folks. We've got some really strange weather ahead of us this week. Actually, we're going to probably close this week out in the triple digits in the South here. Definitely. Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina, and parts of North Carolina. We may get in the triple digits there. So it's going to get very interesting down here. So I just want to mention that. And the fact is, we all know the weather ain't right anymore. And we may have to do something about that. But now this is the continuing series that we're doing on the legends of Appalachia. And one of the most strangest of the legends of the Appalachians that we're covering tonight is the blue people. The blue people. When they show up, it's time to leave. All right, and think about that. And let that sink in a moment, because these are the feral people, but they're not just feral wild people. There's something else going on with this. Why are they painting themselves blue? We've got some theories on that. And we've got some real live pictures to show you of supposedly these guys that were seen. And of course, as you know, please understand that any photos or pictures or anything like that, we cannot verify them unless we took them our own selves. Absolutely. But these are some weird photographs I want you to look at and see what you think about it. But these guys are definitely will unalive you very quickly, or just make you disappear. And I think sometimes you may be going to help the tribe propagate if you are female, usually. If you're not, you may be ending up on the dinner menu. We're going to be talking about that tonight. The blue people of Appalachia. Who or what are they? And could they show up in your neighborhood? If you live anywhere in the foothills or close to the mountains of the Appalachian mountain chain, you might run into these guys. Think about that. Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, and places like that up in there, all the way down to almost Florida. You may have an interesting encounter with some of these sometime. You never know. We're going to talk about that tonight. But I hope you all have had a great week so far. We were here on Hump Day, and we're going down the other side. That's good. That's good. We've reached the pinnacle, and we're sliding into the weekend here. Absolutely. Yeah, well, like I said earlier about the star of the seven archangels, we will probably not get any more of those, but I do have some other things we will talk about later. We've got some keychains, we've got some buttons, but these may be items that you will win in contests we're going to be having very soon. So keep that in mind as well, and be looking out for that. Hello, Blue Eyed Bandit. Good to have you here. All right. But anyway, I'm just checking out some of your comments here. Sometimes this early old guy's probably dozed off. No, I just get quiet because I'm reading. I'm not reading out loud, though. Okay. Beware of that. Don't read things. Certain things do definitely do not need to be read out loud. But you got to buckle up, buckle in, and buckle down and get ready for this. This is very interesting. What do you think? I got some photos I want to share with you. And see what you think about this. Now, if any of you out there are familiar with the movie The Hills Have Eyes, okay, remember that? You ever see that movie? It is a very horrific horror movie, really, in many ways. And here, like I said earlier in the broadcast, this is something, if it's true, and it can very well be true, this is not that far stretch of the imagination, folks, that these things are not there, because certain people can want to live like this. They can be, but here's the interesting thing: you get far back into the mountains and the hollows and the places that nobody goes that much. There may be bands of people like this living up there, but why are they painted blue? Well, that's an interesting aspect of all this, and it goes back to something in deep in ancient lore and things of long ago. Didn't start here. Actually, they started overseas in Scotland and places in Ireland and stuff like that, and in Wales as well, among some of the Celtic peoples and stuff. I think they mentioned some of this today on Jessica's show, and I'm going to have to do a show sometime on colors because color is a very important thing in our universe, folks. Colors mean a lot of different things, and they have a lot of different connotations to them. And the color blue is thought by many of the ancient peoples to be a protective color and a color that almost hooks you up in many ways with magic, the magic of eternity. The Picts people, now that's spelled Picts, the Picts of Scotland, were never conquered by the Romans. The Romans couldn't do anything with them. These people were so fierce and mean and downright nasty, folks. The Romans had to build walls to keep them out. You can still find parts of that wall in Britain to this day. They had to keep them at bay because they couldn't do anything with them. Not even the great mighty Roman army could conquer the Picts. They were a rough bunch of guys, and they never went into battle without being painted blue. And of course, they had a lot of tattoos and stuff on them, too. Let me show you a quick illustration here. They pull it up for you. I'm trying to find it here. Hold on. All right, here's the guy I'm looking for. Take a look at this. This is what your normal Pict would look like. This is one guy you would definitely not want to mess with, okay? He would unalive you very quickly in a very bad way. This guy would not hesitate to do it, but they believed that being painted blue like that, they were part of the heavens, they were part of eternity. The gods were keeping them invincible, keeping them from being killed or giving them great power in battle. And it is thought that these guys, if they killed you in battle, would most of the time eat your liver or something like that. They didn't fool around with you. And they supposedly at certain times were very vicious warriors. Like I said, the Roman army couldn't do anything with them. But there you go. That's your average Pict there. Now take a look at the tattoos. That's very interesting too. The marks he's put on his body and all that. They represent something too. They are allude to their gods and to their modes of warfare that they were interested in. But that's that's what your average one looked like there. And like I say, what if you ran into a band of these guys? Okay, one alone would be a formidable enemy to run into. One alone would be enough, my friends. What if you ran into a bunch of them? Well, I've got some interesting photos to show you. Some people say they have actually encountered these things in the Appalachians. And let me see if I can pull one photo up for you now. I want you to examine these photos very closely, see what you think. I want to hear what you got to think about it here, okay? And let's pull this one up right quick. Now, this was shot from somebody's camp. And if you'll look over to the right of your screen, you'll see this guy peeping over a boulder. Look at that. He's painted blue. Blue as the sky almost, isn't he? And he's looking at that's a bad looking dude, folks. That right there is somebody that will eat you for dinner. Take a look at that. Now they're not very, according to some records, real tall people. Probably not of them. Many of them reach over 6 feet tall, but who knows? These are modern ones and not the ones of ancient times. All right, got you another photo here. Now, I don't know why they thought it was necessary to draw a circle on this, but it's pretty obvious when you look at it. But that's another one. Take a look. And now this comes from a film. I don't have the film. I wish I could show it to you. Maybe I will try to get that put up on the things later. But you can see this guy's head moving. He's bobbing, looking around slowly, getting ready to duck down behind that tree or stump or whatever it is that he's behind there. Take a look at him. He is blue as well. And I think this is another shot of him without that stupid red circle. A little bit further back. See him there? Looking over that? I think it's some more rocks or something there. These are things that you run into, my friends, in the Appalachian Mountains. These are the blue people. And like I said, when they show up, it's time to leave. You do not want these guys hanging around your picnic, okay? Because you may end up being their picnic. That's the problem. Now, let me, I'm going to take this down and go back to our screen here. Let me talk to you a minute about the Appalachians, okay? And there are many, many folklore and legends and tales, and we're going to be talking about some of those other things in on this series as well. But we got to remember something about the Appalachians. They are an ancient mountain range, and they have existed since the continents once were all connected. Did you know, whether you know this or not, now listen to this closely, the Appalachians were once upon a time connected to the mountain ranges of Scotland. That's where these guys were from. The Picts were in Scotland, folks, the ones that painted themselves blue. And now this is very interesting, but we've got this all the way over here in America now. There's no way they ever got in a boat or anything like that, probably, and came over here. Where does these guys come from? Have they existed for all these many years deep in the mountain ranges of America without us knowing it? There are tales among the indigenous peoples of seeing these people, these blue people as well, encountering them. They were the indigenous peoples of America was scared of these guys. Have they been here all along? Are they part of Scotland from even the time that when the Americas and Scotland were connected before the continents broke up and parted? That's an interesting something to think about, folks. There's too much of a coincidence, and you know you heard me say that before many times. I do not believe in coincidence anymore. It's too coincidental. Hello, Bigfoot Dwarf. Good to have you here, brother. But I mean, come on now, you know. Could these guys be the Picts of ancient times still with us? The ones that the Romans were scared of? Well, next time you're having a picnic out there in the mountains somewhere and you hear this guy and you see this guy looking at you from over a boulder or from around a tree somewhere, you might want to think twice about, you know, maybe going home very quickly. And here's the bad part about it, folks. These guys supposedly have been spotted around suburbs and farms. You on a farm? You may run into one of these guys one day. You might be out in your cornfield or something like that. You never know. Because they are scavengers, too. Listen very closely. Supposedly, they were scavengers. They live off the land. They are supreme survivalists. They can survive just as well as Bigfoot and Sasquatch, whatever name you want to call him. They probably coexist with him. He's probably scared of them, too. And Dogman would avoid them because it's like you would avoid trouble if you're smart. Because these guys if they live in bands and tribes deep in the forest, that gives them more power and more strength. You know, there's strength in numbers, my friend. Absolutely. One of these, you might get lucky and handle them, but a whole bunch of them, you're going to have a big problem on your hands. Well, yeah, Kyle. You see any blue people walking around, call me immediately. But you might ought to do it from a payphone several miles away. But anyway, that's what you got with the blue people of Appalachia. Very strange stuff here, folks. But, there have been rumors for many years of these, feral people living deep in the mountains. And I think that when they go foraging or they think that they may engage in battle or anything, they will definitely paint themselves blue. It's part of their religious aspect on things. They believe in the power of that color very much. And they believe, like they believe in the power of their tattoos and all this other stuff that goes with their religion. They are connected in ancient times to the Druids. The Druids knew about the Picts. The Druids didn't like them either. No, nobody liked these guys because they were sort of like, the trash of the ancient world, but they were blue trash. Okay, yeah, put it that way. They were something else, definitely. And the Picts, and you know what? They were a great mystery and still are to this day. We do not know a whole lot about the Picts. We don't know a whole lot. They didn't leave a whole lot of stuff behind if they ever left. Did they ever leave? Take a look at these pictures and tell me, what do you think? Do they still exist? I'd like to know. I'd like to know if people have spotted these guys in Scotland too. Because, like I said, that used to be part of the mountain range that was connected to the Appalachian Mountains. We've got a lot of ties and connections to the old world, my friends, right here in the new world, right here. Maybe some of them never died out. Maybe some of them are still alive in many ways. We do know that these mountains and these mountain ranges have a very strange amount of magic about them. There's something different about this mountain range than just other mountain ranges, like maybe the Rocky Mountains or the Cascades and stuff like that. There's something going on with the Appalachians that's dark, and very ancient, like the very ancient magic of the old world found in the new world to this day. We have to wonder, and we have to speculate about these things. Could they still exist? Are they still out there? If these pictures are real, if they're not made up, something, AI, and like you say, you really can't trust your eyes anymore, unfortunately. That's the way the world is about that. And, I'm going to have to do a show on AI because it is going to be, it is our future here and now, and it's going to really have a real big effect upon all of us, okay, in ways that we have not yet dreamed of. But right now, it has destroyed a lot of research because we cannot fully tell anymore what is real, my friends, and what is not real. We are entering a new world order of reality, and we don't know if it's real or not. We are being deceived on a grand scale. Just like these guys would deceive you if you were out in the woods. They can mimic cries, they can mimic bird calls and animal sounds, and even mimic you if they listen to you long enough to lure you out into the forest. If you're female, you will help them propagate their tribe. If you are male, you will probably end up being dinner. Because these guys are not gonna they're not gonna stop at anything to survive. That's what makes them so very dangerous, don't you understand? They've got no rules, they've got no laws, they've got no precepts to stop them from doing whatever it takes to keep existing, no matter what. That even includes eating your grandchild if it's necessary for them. They don't care. They'll do whatever it takes. Just like a hungry coyote. to steal little dogs and cats. They're not going to stop at that. That's food for them. Don't you understand? That's how they're going to survive. And you really can't blame them in a way, because that's what it takes to survive in the wilderness. We've lost that. We don't understand that anymore. All we got to worry about is going to the grocery store, or going to Walmart, or going to McDonald's and getting food. You can even phone it in now and bring it to your house. Come on. We've lost that survival instinct. We're killing it day by day. But these guys haven't lost that. They live on it. They exist with it. They will do anything, whatever it takes to survive. Yes, there's a lot going on in this world that we got to understand is not what we think it is, and we have been deceived in many different ways. And we have, and here's the bad part. I'm not going to get too deep into this tonight, but we are being deliberately deceived. Do you not understand that? It's not just an accidental deceivement. This is deliberate. It has a plan behind it. Do you not understand? And that's what they're going to do to you. And this is part of the image of the beast, the Antichrist, whatever name you want to call him. It ties in with AI perfectly. This is the tool that he will use to twist and change your perception of reality. The ultimate mind washing, my friends. The ultimate indoctrination. The ultimate enslavement of the mind is the perception and changing and controlling the perception of your reality. Do you not understand that? Nothing goes past that. When something comes along and changes the actual perception of your reality, you can no longer believe, hear, or understand what you're seeing is the true thing. You are walking in murky waters that you cannot see in where you put your feet at. You don't understand where you're going. It's like wandering in a thick, heavy smoke or fog. You're being deliberately deceived and manipulated on a scale never thought possible in the history of mankind. That's what's going on right now, here and now, today. It is all a concerted effort, a deliberate deceivement of the human race for one purpose and one purpose only: control, use, and abuse, and destruction. It's that simple. Absolutely. And these guys are that way too. They will try to twist. If you run into them out there in the forest, they will try to twist your perception of reality. Try not get you to see them, or you could be looking at them and not even see them. Let me ask you. I got a very important question to ask all of you, or statement just to make to you. Listen very closely to what I'm about to say. You look, my friends, but do you really see? Do you really see? Ask yourself that, and you need to ask yourself that a lot. No, most don't. They don't really or don't care to see. And you can, and listen, I got some news for you. You better wake up and you better open your eyes. You better understand what's truly going on around you and perceive what's really happening, because you can't trust your own eyes anymore. Okay? They're manipulating your mind, folks. If you can manipulate the human mind, you got humanity right exactly where you want it. To conquer someone, you must first conquer their mind. You got to overthrow the human mind to take it over. Don't you understand? Just like a castle or a fort, you gotta take it over that way. That's how you overcome people. That's how you do things. That's how evil works in this world, without a doubt. And we can't ever lose sight of that. Absolutely. So, on your next picnic out there in the forest, my friends, you might want to, keep your eyes open and really look And what you're looking at, is that the real thing or something else altogether? Because these guys are masters of camouflage. They are masters of cloaking themselves and hiding, because that's what they have to survive. Don't you understand? And you don't ever want to become part of their survival, because that means you may end up giving them the next meal for the next day. So keep that in mind and be careful. And look, start paying more attention to what's going on around you. And when I was a police officer, it was the first thing we were ever taught: observe everything. Pass somebody on the road and then tell your partner what clothes he's wearing, what kind, can he have a beard, whatever. You just pass that quick, but you gotta really look. Don't you understand? You got to observe everything. Don't just take it at face value. Look at it. Look twice. Look 3 times if you need to. But see it for what it really is, not what you think it may be. It may be a whole different thing altogether when you come down to it. That's right, girl in her gong. Situational awareness. You gotta have that in this world to survive now. And you know what? I have seen many. There's been. Let me tell you this. Some of my own experience looking for Bigfoot, and there have been times I have seen that thing Sorry about that, folks. Something didn't want me to finish that last sentence. Oh, well, here I am. I am back. Okay. Well, what I was going to say is, there's been several times that looking out through the forest, I had to look a couple of times, and I could see that son of a gun. You wouldn't see him the first few times you looked, but I could see him. I could make him out, like standing next to a tree. Well, it looked just almost like the tree or a bush or whatever it was, a crop of rocks. It was. I've had that happen many times, and that taught me a very valuable lesson. You can look, but you really need to see. You can look, but you really need to see. It's very important. I had an update on my computer the other day, and I think it did something where it knocks me off the internet. I don't know why it's doing that, but I may have to check it. I'll have to work on that. I don't know what's going on with that, but anyway. Yeah, but that's been my experience as a monster hunter. And I'm a monster hunter from way back, and you got to be careful. The number one rule of monster hunting, my friends, the number one rule, and there are 3 canonical rules, I call them, but the number one rule is the hunter must never become the hunted. And these things can hunt you back. There's been many times I've been down the trail that I would stop, go off trail, and sit in the bushes and watch. You would be amazed at what may be trailing you from behind, and you'll never know it unless you kind of bushwhack it a little bit. You know what I mean? You would be amazed at what's following you at a distance. You got to be patient, though. This takes a lot of patience, my friend. You got to have patience to do these things. But you got to know how to hunt. You got to know how to track. You got to know how to look for these things, and you got to know how they do things and how they react and how they work. That's the things you got to go with. You know. Big Funny Murfreesboro Event Center at Walnut Street, Murfreesboro, Illinois this weekend. That sounds like it'd be interesting. I'd love to see that. But anyway, yep, that's what you got to think about, and use these hunting techniques can help you. You need to, bone up on some of this stuff. You need to start learning about it. There's so much going on around us that we don't perceive the right way, and we need to understand that the world we're living in now is not the same world that you and I were born into, my friends. It has changed a terrible amount. It has changed a lot. Well, thank you for that wonderful sticker there, Area 51. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that very much. That is a big help there. 1999. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm trying to put it up on the screen, but it wouldn't let me. There we go. I found it. There we go. I'll put you up on the screen. You deserve some screen time. There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's gonna help. I think that's gonna help us out definitely with the quota. I appreciate that so much, Area 51. Your support is well appreciated. Thank you. But there's been many times I've watched people. I'm a people watcher. I like to watch people. It's so very interesting. I watch animals and people, how they react, how they do things. I learn from them. And the interesting thing is, sometimes you can just sit there and you get a better understanding of what it is that you may be looking for sometimes. Once you study on these things and learn about them and understand how things work, I can almost, I'm going to tell you something weird, okay? And then you can call us, doctor, you don't want around the men. It's time for you to, go pack your marbles up and leave, okay? But let me tell you something. I can almost talk to animals, my friend. I can almost communicate with them on a level that you don't usually communicate on them with. You know what I'm saying? I do. I've learned them their characteristics so much, their reactions and stuff. And I feel them on a different level altogether. And this goes with people too. I have interacted with people a lot, especially some of the lower scum of society, my friends. Okay, that you can really, but you get a different perception here. Like I say on Paranormal Point of View, which will be on Friday night. There are things known and there are things unknown. And in between are the doors of perception. And you need to really be careful with that perception, especially in liminal places. Does anyone here know what I'm talking about when I say liminal places? And the Appalachians are definitely a liminal place. Liminal means the in-between. Anything can happen in those places, okay? Liminal. And there are liminal situations. There are liminal beings. And there are liminal locations. And the Appalachians are definitely, without a doubt, one of those. I live in the foothills, I know. I've lived here all my life. I can see the mountains from my front porch, okay? I live in the foothills. And there's some weird crap goes on around here, my friends. Trust me. And if you're ever out in the woods and you see a light, don't go chasing after it. Ignore it. A light that shouldn't be there, ignore it. And if you ever hear music, do not follow it under any circumstances. Or sounds, or baby crying, or anything like that. There are rules these are the rules we live by. I was taught when I was a little kid. There's certain things you just don't do in the Appalachians, especially. I heard my dog speak to me once. Animals are very tough. Yeah. You just got to perceive. You got to sharpen your perception. You know, it's like a knife. Let me say, you go to your kitchen right now and you want to cut a loaf of bread or something. You gonna go pick out the dullest knife you got? I hope not. I hope you got more sense than that. You want a sharp knife. Well, your perceptions need to be sharp. Don't you understand? Dull perceptions ain't gonna get you nothing, my friend, but trouble. Keep your wits sharp. You know, you've heard me say that many times. Be sharp. Be smart. Be sharp. Yeah. Don't be dull. You got to. And if you sharpen your perception, you can open up to the environment and atmosphere around you in ways you never dreamed of. But you got to work on it. You got to want to do it. It takes extreme concentration and willpower. But the mind can do this. The mind over matter thing, folks, is real. I've had it happen. I've experimented with it for many years. Mind over matter works. The mind, I'm going to tell you what, the greatest thing that God ever gave you physically was your brain. That is you. That is the center of your soul. Do you not understand? That is the ultimate part of your being. You ain't nothing but your brain, baby. Take good care of it. Sharpen it. Make it work for you. That is the thing, the one thing they can drop you out in the middle of the forest tomorrow with nothing. And if you're smart enough, you will survive. If your brain is sharp enough. But if it ain't, you're dead meat. You're going to be dinner for the animals later on. Some bear's going to be munching on you or something. You hear me? If you're not smart, and that's the number one weapon that was given mankind by their creator, your mind, your brain. Keep it sharp. Sharpen your perception. It opens you up completely to everything around you. And just like I said, the things that happened with Bigfoot that I looked for him, I was looking enough, trying to perceive him enough back. Gosh, I saw him. Now, I've had a lot of people come up to me over the years say, Dennis, you were real lucky. How can I look for Bigfoot. I can't see him. You know what I say? You're not looking. He's there. Dogman's there. The other thing's there. You're just not looking. You're not doing it the right way. You understand, folks, what I'm saying here? This is something I've learned. I'm passing it on to you. This is something I learned the hard way. Okay? I wasn't born knowing all this stuff. I learned it. I had to learn it. I learned it the hard way. But hey, that's the best way to learn something. I'm going to tell you something. You give me two men, one who has learned from experience and one who learned from reading the book. I'll take the guy that had the experience every time. I'm in his club. You hear me? You can show me all the doctorates you want to in the world. Show me all the college degrees you got. That ain't nothing. If you ain't got experience, my friend, if you ain't been out in that field for years on end, you ain't got it, baby. You just ain't got it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. But do you agree with me? Do you really? Am I lying to you? No, I'm not. I'm telling you the gosh awful truth here. The gosh honest truth. That's the way you got to do things in this world. And you're a much better person for that. Some people got trained thoughts of the brain. Some people, when God was handing out the brains, my friend, some people, and I'm not going to get in politics tonight, they walked off. They didn't get one. We call them walk-offs. They walked off. They wandered on off. They didn't get one. The book they landed a spaceship on a baseball field. Nobody saw them because they didn't expect it. They didn't even close. No. They're not perceiving. You're not perceiving what's there because you're not really looking. And just like I said, I was sitting there for hours. I've sat hours in the woods, folks, okay? Many, many days, many hours I spent there. I'll be staring, I'll be looking, and you know what? I could see a leaf moving, and by gosh, it was a doggone squirrel behind it. Well, that leaf was moving for a reason. Most people say, oh, that's the wind blowing. No, not all the time. Things are doing, everything's got a reaction to it. And it's not, and nothing, let me tell you something. Very little in this universe happens randomly. There are actions and reactions. Everything. But yet we dismiss that. Many, many, many times. We dismiss that. Yeah, you always have your knife, of course. Yeah, you can take things to go with you, definitely. You know, I'm not telling you to walk out there without anything, but the biggest thing that you'll ever have is this right here. That's what's going to really play the game for you, win or lose. That's where it's at. And life, all of life, not just the woods, not just survival, all of life is like this, my friends. You got to understand that. This is the philosophy that I live by. You know, I'm a doctor of philosophy, and I understand a lot of philosophies in this world. Okay. There are a lot. Some of them are cracked. Some of them are not, they don't hold up, they don't hold water, but some do. Okay. And this is definitely one of them. This is how you learn and perceive things on the scale that you need to. You understand? But it takes exercise. You got to work it. You got to work at it. You got to practice it. You know that old saying, practice makes perfect. You know? But that's the way it goes. I'm gonna tell you what. I have actually, you know, we've talked about this guy before. That he is, you know, sort of like the Predator from the movie Predator, and this is where I believe they got the idea for Predator at, by the way. But the Glimmer Man, I have seen him. Well, I've seen in reaction to him. He's not. You can't see him. You can see what he's doing though. But I have seen branches part. They should not have parted, and something was there, but you couldn't see what it was. That's the Glimmer Man. We call him Glimmer Man. That's just the name we give him. It's very much like the Predator thing. I think that's where they got the idea for that. Things can be cloaked, my friends. I'm gonna tell you something right now. The United States government has the ability to turn things invisible. I've seen that with my own eyes. Okay. They have the ability to turn things invisible. They have the cloak of invisibility, like Harry Potter. Remember that? They've got the real deal, folks. If I had one here tonight, I could cover myself up with it and I would be gone. You wouldn't see me. This is real. I'm not making this stuff up. What's the real deal here? Okay? That is one of the most. Let me tell you something. You know, we've talked about the occult before, about shape shifting. The witches love to shape shift and they like to play around and do their spells. You know what? Another great power that they get from the demons and darkness? Invisibility. Did you know that? They can fly. They have invisibility. They shape shift. They cast spells. They twist reality. That's what magic is all about, folks. Black magic, especially. The witches of old, they had an ointment that would rub on their thighs. The broom didn't have anything to do it. They rub this on. The broom is just something they use. That's what made them fly. And the reason they rubbed it on, I'm gonna get a little sketchy here with you, okay? The reason they rubbed it on the thighs, they got it into their female areas and absorbed into their bodies, and this ornament made them fly, supposedly. Wasn't the broom. Broom had nothing to do with it. They could use a stick. They could use a vacuum cleaner if you wanted to. It doesn't matter about that. They got the ornament. These are the things that they seek in the perception of their reality to change things to the way they want it to be. They're changing reality. Don't you understand? And that's what's going on. And do you not think, okay, you believe in aliens? Do you think that they ever perfected the ability to cloak? Oh, come on now. If you're going to have a higher advanced civilization, you're going to have something like that. An arrow like that in your quiver, my friends. Absolutely. I wouldn't leave home without it. Hello, Roger. Good to have you here. But I'm saying this stuff is not. You're probably sitting out there right now saying, "Boy, Dennis, you have lost it." But I'm not. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. This is real stuff. I have seen witchcraft in use. I've seen black magic and what it can do. Trust me, this is not folk tales and children's stories. This is the real thing. And there are skinwalkers, witches who can turn themselves into different animals or things. It don't have to be an animal. There can be all kind of weird looking things, man. Trust me. It's wild stuff. And if they can shapeshift, they can turn invisible, they can fly, they can change the perception of reality, they can stop time and space. Come on. Think about that a moment. Guess what else they can do to you? They can confuse your mind when they want to. Did you know one of the biggest things of black magic is attacking the human mind? They put that band of witchcraft around your head. You know, it's very much like a headache, like a migraine. You know, a lot of people that have migraines are actually being attacked. A lot of them by witchcraft sometimes. Yeah, I'm not saying every time now, but I'm saying sometimes. That's what happens. That's what these spells will do. There are spells that do that. They call it the headband spell. It's like a band of witchcraft. They can confuse your mind. They can make you walk into a wall. And you won't even know it there. You think you're going through a door. They make you think it's a door you're going through. You just walk right into the wall. They think that stuff's funny, folks. They do that. They walk behind. Aleister Crowley used to walk behind people and with witchcraft deliberately trip them. And they'd fall and he just laughed. He thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Hello, Jessica. Good to have you here, dear. This witchcraft stuff is real. That's nothing made up. Magic is a real deal. And they use this magic, you know, to attack you and stuff. They come after you. I remember one witch said she sat in a classroom. Think about this being your kid in this class, okay? And she said that she would sit there in that classroom trying to put spells on them little kids. That's an exercise that they do. Do you know? That's called spellcraft, by the way. You heard that word before. Spellcraft. Did I not tell you that before? Witchcraft is not a religious belief, my friends. It is a profession of the dark arts, of dark black magic. That's what it's all about. And just like these blue guys I was talking about earlier, they have probably learned the properties of this stuff too. The people of old, the people of Scotland, Ireland, and Wales, they used to be deep in touch with land. They knew this stuff was real. Some of them used it. Those were the witches of old. They knew how to do these things. They're still with us, folks. They never died out. Some of them can't die. Some of them keep coming back. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm getting deep into some stuff tonight. I didn't intend to do it, but it's interesting. Very interesting. I'm going to have to do a show on this one night. The real witchcraft in this world and what they're really up to and what the things that they can do to you. You will not sleep well again for a long time. Because these are people, human beings just like you and me, but they have gone one step beyond. They have embraced the darkness, and now they are the darkness. Do you not understand that? They have embraced the darkness, and now they are that darkness. Great show you had today, Cryptid Huntress, and enjoyed it. And I had some fun in the chat room there with a lizard thing. But yeah, this stuff's real, folks. I'm not making it up. I've seen it. I have seen it in action. And with witches, they start off with little stuff. They work their way up. They sharpen their perception. Oh yeah, don't think for one moment. They're always working on their perception of things and how to sharpen themselves into this thing. Mind over matter is real. Your mind can change things. It's real, folks. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding about this. Okay. People who are in touch with their psychic abilities know that this is true. The mind can be a formidable thing and a very formidable weapon if it's turned the wrong way. That's what dark black witchcraft is all about. And yeah, they're so sadistic. These people are so sick and twisted. They love to do these things to you. They would think it was funny to throw a fever on your child or make you have a car wreck or whatever. It wasn't, they think that's part of their exercise routine. They're wanting to change the perception of reality around them. This is the bad thing about dark magic, my friends, because it is messing up the precepts that our Creator has set in the laws of this universe. They're messing around and playing God when they better not do stuff like that, but that's what they're doing. They're little penny ante gods of their own selves. That's what they are. Skinwalker's nothing but a witch. That's all it is, folks. You could give it the fancy name. The Navajo call them the Yinatalushi. The Yinatalushi. With it, or they are it, or they wear it. That's what it means. Yinatalushi, the Skinwalker. That's just another name for a witch. That's all it is. A witch of the black arts. Why do they call them black arts? Because they have embraced the darkness in this world. Let me tell you something, my friends. I'll tell you something tonight. And you've got to always remember this. Stay away from that darkness. Don't play with that darkness. Don't mess around with it in any form or fashion. Avoid it like you would a plague. Because that darkness will eat you up and twist you and turn you into something that you are not anymore. You won't even be God's child anymore. Don't you understand that? You won't be a child of God anymore. That's what this does to you. It takes that away from you. Don't ever play around with the darkness. But these people, that's what they're doing. They play around with it. They live in it. They are now the darkness. And that's what we need to understand. And we need to understand they are out there doing things. Okay? But yet we have a Creator who cares about us and loves us enough that He will protect us. He has given us that promise. I will give my angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways, and nothing shall harm you. Behold, I give you power over snakes and scorpions and all the power of the enemy, and nothing by any means shall harm you. No weapon formed against you will prosper. It won't work. If you accept that safety, if you accept that positive attitude, if you accept that goodness of God, that love of God, and put it in your heart, it will give you that armor of light. But that's the only thing that's going to protect you from this kind of crap, folks. You better be careful. You better be careful who's in your life, who you communicate with, who you shake hands with, who you touch and let touch you. You better be careful on all fronts and be careful what goes in here, in your ears, and in your eyes, and in your mouth, and in your brain. Guard those gates well, my friends. They are the gates to your soul. And listen, if you fall into darkness, you got nobody to blame but yourself. Walk in the light, hold the line, and go with the light. Stay away from that darkness. No matter what. That's what you got to do. Because it's out there waiting to swallow you up. Am I joking about this? Am I making this up? No, I'm not. I have seen it in action. People know. Jessica knows what I'm talking about. The girl in her gong, she knows what I'm talking about. Kyle Smith, you know what I'm talking about. People know what's going on here. They know this is the real thing. This is nothing made up, folks. We're not talking about fairy tales here. So the next time you're out in the woods, you may run into these blue people. They believe in that magic too, by the way. They probably use a lot of it. If you run into the blue people, it's time to leave. If they show up, it's time to leave. Okay, take my advice. Absolutely. You know, Bigfoot might cut you a break. Even Dogman might cut you a break. But I don't think these guys are going to do that. Why? Because they're too much like us. You understand what I'm saying? I think I ran into a skunk ape one night, actually. And I'll tell you that story one time. But anyway. I'm going to tell you what, folks. The one thing we got to remember is very important. I've had people ask me this question on several occasions. They said, why is all this stuff happening in the world? Why is it increasing? Are we getting closer to the veil? Are we getting closer to the last days? Absolutely, we are. Definitely, without a doubt. Things are going to change that you've never dreamed possible. Things are coming down the line, folks, and you better get yourselves ready for it. That's all I got to say. You better get yourself and your families ready for what's coming down the line. But I'll tell you why. One big reason why all this is increasing is because we're talking more about it. Don't you understand? We're talking about reptilians. We're talking about aliens. We're talking about fallen angels. We're talking about demons. We're talking about skinwalkers and all this other things. And guess what that does, folks? It empowers them. There is power in language and words. Do you not understand that? And the darkness knows this, and it hooks on to that power, and it makes them stronger. It gives them more entrance into our world and in our reality. Do you not understand that? That's what's going on here. You know, we're talking more about it. It's out in the open more now. It's giving them more power in life to do the things that they want to do. We've got to understand that's the down shoot on all this here, folks, okay? That's the downdraft here. We're responsible for a lot of this stuff, okay? Because we're talking more about it, we're thinking more about it, we're watching movies about it, we're doing talk shows like this about it. The list goes on and on and on and on. We're responsible for that. Don't you understand? We are giving these things life, power with our words and our thoughts. Because what did I just say about black magic? That's where it begins. On the power of the mind and the thoughts and words. Don't you understand? And these things have that black magic, that aura of darkness around them. That aura of darkness is there. And when we empower it for them, it gives them more strength. You're going to be seeing more stuff. As time goes on, you're going to see even nature and the animals of nature turn against us because of this. Do you not understand? Things, it's a whole new ball game now, folks. So just hang on. That's all I got to tell you. It's going to be, from here on out, it's going to get wild, weird, and wacky, folks. Okay? And it ain't going to be good. So get yourselves ready. Get your real selves ready. Get that armor on and get ready for the fight, because it's coming to you. Not your neighbor. Not me. It's coming to you. It's already come to me. It's coming to you. This is your future. You go back. Go read the book of Revelation. What's the one? Let me. I don't know if you ever know this. Anybody ever tell you this? Okay, in the book of Revelation, what does he keep saying? What was so bad about the people and why all these judgments come upon them? Because it says they wouldn't stop their magic, their black magic. They wouldn't stop lying. They wouldn't stop turning their back on God and all these other. Did you hear that? They were practicing black magic, folks. Don't you understand? In the end times, humanity is going to fall further into the darkness of shadow. And nothing that God does to them is going to bring them back because they don't want to come back. Don't you understand that? That's what darkness does to you. It changes you radically. You're not the same person anymore. Like I said, you are no longer a child of God. That's how you lose your soul. Point blank. That's it. Once your humanity is gone, whether you're a drone, a clone, or whatever you are, you ain't got no soul. Once you lose your humanity, your soul is gone, my friend. You're no longer a human being. Do you understand that? If you were looking at Dennis Carroll today, right now, and you took my soul out of me, I will not be a human being anymore. I would not be Dennis Carroll anymore. Do you understand that? Just like a vampire or zombie. And there are things, let me tell you something. Somebody said this the other day. He said, boy, that sounds like demon possession. I got bad news for you, folks. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. I should have said this on Jessica's show the other day. There are worse things, even worse things than demon possession. Did you hear what I just said? There are worse things out there than even demon possession. Let that sink in. Power in words. Yes, there is. Power in language. That's why that the forces of darkness use language and words and media so much. It's so easy. Their language is lies and deceit and deception. That's all it's about. Deceiving you from knowing the real truth of your reality. Don't let them do that to you, my friends. You know what? Humanity's got enough stacked against us. Even our own selves, we're our worst enemies. But we don't need to fall victim to losing the true perception of our reality. But anyway, won't you be thinking about that? Days and coming. Be careful when you're out there in the woods on a picnic this summer there. Watch out for those balloon people. You know, I hope they don't show up. I believe they're out there. I believe without doubt they do exist. I believe they're out there. That would surprise me one bit. And yeah, they're definitely gonna paint this hill blue because that's their magic color. That's their thing. That's what they do. Yep. And yeah, they like to eat people too. So next time you go on a picnic in the forest, let's just hope you don't end up being the picnic. Okay? Be careful out there. Keep your eyes open and watch out. Definitely. Don't run into Yoga Bear either, because he's smarter than the average bear, okay? He really goes after those picnic baskets. Ranger Dave can tell you about that. Yes, blue-eyed man. There's a lot going on out there, but yeah, we have a creator who loves us, and he will safeguard us. He will keep us safe if we only believe in him and embrace his love. That's all we got to do. And believe in him and embrace his love. We'll be okay. But without that, you are twisting slowly in the wind, my friend. Without that, you are a sitting duck. You got a target on you a mile wide. Without that, you in bad trouble. We all are. Kyle Smith, yes, deceive, distract, and destroy. They're good at that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I always like Boo Boo. He was a homo guy, but he always, he was really the one that had brains. Cinch up your armor, my friends. Pick up your shield and get your sword sharp and ready. Put your helmet on and get ready for the battle because it's coming to you. Whether you want it or not, it's coming to you. So get ready. That's all I can tell you. I'm like the watchman on the wall, the guard at the gate. I'm warning you to get ready for the, like Romans 13:12. For the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Therefore, let us cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. You better get yourself ready, my friends. The battle is coming. The war is upon us. It ain't gonna be good. But that's it. Yes, sir. Yeah, leave that armor in place. That's good. Make sure that armor is tight and the buckles are good and everything is right the way it should be. Because your armor is very important. Never be a knight without armor in a savage land. That's what you don't want to be. You don't want to be a knight without armor in a savage land. And the land we're living in now, my friends, is definitely savage with a capital S. It's only going to get worse. Knowledge is power. Knowledge protects. Absolutely. God wants you to have power. He doesn't want you to be stupid. What did I say? He gave you this for a reason. He gave you that brain so that you can survive, that you can be something in this universe. These other things are laughing at us. These reptilians and fallen angels, whatever names you want to give them and call them, they're laughing at us because we're too darn stupid to realize this kind of stuff. Do you understand? They're laughing at us. They think we're the biggest joke in the doggone universe. They think they're smarter than us, and by gosh, I hate to say it, but they probably are in some ways. They sure are. And if we want to stay here, if we want to exist in this universe, we better be sharp. We gotta be sharp, folks. That's it. I may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but by gosh, I can still cut if it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? I can still cut it. And that's what we better be. You understand? We better be the sharpest knife we can be. Because that's what it's going to take. But these guys, these demons and all of them, they're laughing at us. Don't you understand that? They think we're the biggest joke it ever was. Oh, we can do whatever we want to them. We can laugh at them. We can fool them. We can eat them. We can do whatever we want to them. I'm going to tell you something, folks. I'm going to tell you something. I was listening to one the other day. Do you know that some of these guys get together and hunt little children for fun and then eat them? Do you understand what I'm talking about here, folks? You want me to get real down and dirty with you here tonight and tell you the real stuff that's going on in this world? They sit in their hunting lodges and they actively hunt people, little children, because you know what? They taste better when they scared to death. That's what's going on. That's just a little bit of it. Oh, they have their fun and games. They laugh. Oh, they think that they are so smart and they got it over on us because we're stupid. And yes, unfortunately, we are. Too many times we are. Yeah, they playing games like that. You remember you heard me talk about the Feast of the Wolves and the Banquet of Blood. Werewolves that eat the little children, and the vampires that suck the little children dry. You think I'm making this stuff up? The Satanists do this. The Satanists have games where they hunt little children down and rape them and torture them, and then they eat them. I'm not making this up. Do you think I'm lying to you? This is the darkness, my friends, that's out there. Be ready for when it comes for you. Be ready when it comes for you. But that's my show tonight. So be careful out there in the woods, wherever you go. Even if it's the Walmart parking lot, or if it's wherever you go, McDonald's, be careful, because things are not the way they once were, my friends. And we need to understand that. We need to perceive things on a higher level. There are things known and there are things unknown. And in between are the doors of perception. And we need to keep those doorways open, my friends. Absolutely. That's what this show is all about. This is why we hunt the shadows. Okay? This is why we hunt the shadows. We expose this stuff. We pull it out of the shadows. Don't you understand? But in order to do that, you got to go into the shadows and pull it out. And that's what this. When I first conceived this show many years ago, I said I want to talk about the things that need to be talked about. I want to pull the truth out into the light where it needs to be, not hidden in the darkness. That's what it's all about. That's what hunting in the shadows is all about. That's what I'm doing this for. We all need to do this. Don't you understand? In our own fashion, in our own way. We need to pull the truth out, even if we have to pull it out from under the robes of senators and judges. But it needs to be pulled into the light, because the darkness works in the shadows and the blackness against us at our back. That's why we hunt the shadows. And the shadows in this world ain't going to have no choice, no chance against us as long as we're hunting them. Don't you understand, my friends? They don't want us to hunt them. They're scared of us. What have I told you so many times before? Don't you ever forget this. Evil wants to keep you a victim because it's scared of you as a warrior. They don't want you as a warrior. It's scared of you. Don't you understand that? Resist the devil and he will flee from you. But you got to resist him. You got to do it the right way. You don't compromise with the devil. Look, I never will forget one time I walked in a place and they wanted me to do a cleansing there. And they said, can't you, we don't want you to run around. You're not going to come in here hollering and doing stuff like that. I said, well, look, I can't come in here and beg this stuff to leave. It'll never leave. I've got to throw it forcibly out. That's the way God does stuff. God doesn't ask you to do anything. He does it. Don't you understand? And that's the way you got to treat evil. Don't play around with it. Don't appease it. Don't compromise with it. Fight it. Cast it the heck out. Throw it out. Get it away from you. Whoop its butt. But do it. That's the way you can't play with it, folks. I'm going to tell you what. There's a trick that they used to do in India. Okay? And John Keel talked about this in his book, Jadoo. If you've never read it, you want to read a good book, a great book, you need to find a copy of Jadoo. Jadoo, the Hindu word for magic is Jadoo. And John Keel wrote this book. He went overseas in India watching this. He went to the fakers over there, the fakers. And the shaman over there, and they do all the yoga stuff and stuff that they do over there, the yogi stuff. Okay, anyway, they have a thing where they can supposed to mesmerize and play the flute, and they get this cobra, king cobra, and they mesmerize it, they hypnotize it, and then they'll stop the music and they'll look at the cobra and kiss him right on the head. It's real quick. Boom, you kiss that cobra. Would you do that, my friend? I wouldn't. I wouldn't advise it. But they kiss that cobra. But John Keel found out something important. Listen to this. He found out most of the time they had taken the teeth out of that cobra. Okay, that cobra didn't have any teeth. He couldn't bite them. But some of them would do it with the teeth in there because they knew what they were doing. Be careful with the darkness. Don't kiss the cobra, my friends. Don't kiss the cobra. Appalachian hog horse. That's pretty good. I didn't think about that. Some things you just be careful not. You better not pet. You better respect him. You can respect your enemy, but you don't have to love him. You don't have to compromise with him. You can respect what he can do to you. You understand? Shark gonna be a shark. Snake's gonna be a snake. If it bites you, that's your fault because the snake's just doing what the snake's gonna do. You understand what I'm saying? Don't blame the snake. Don't blame the shark. Blame yourself. You're the one who put yourself in that position to get bit. No, they're being what they're being. They're gonna be. That's it. You can't blame them for that. So where is the real blame at? So you don't play with the darkness. You don't play with it. Just get it the heck away from you. Put it where it needs to be. Far from you. But anyway, that's my show tonight. And be careful out there. Wherever you go. Whether it's blue people or whatever. Or Bigfoot or Dogman or whatever you may run into. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something right now. And I want to make one quick statement before I close tonight. I cannot tell you 100% sit here and tell you that there are certain alien species out there. I know all about what different species, the Lyrians and all the rest of them are supposed to be out there. I cannot tell you 100% guarantee you that they even actually exist. Do you have proof? Do you have actual 100% proof that you can put in somebody's hand? No, you don't. Nobody has proof. A lot of this is supposition. You understand that? But I can tell you one thing. Look me in the eye right now tonight and listen to me very closely. I can tell you one thing for sure that I do know. Demons are real. Fallen angels are real. I have seen them. They exist. Some of them look like reptilians, by the way, because that's their true nature. They are real. Take it from me. They are real. I don't know about the rest of them. I don't know about the little green man, the guys with the big gray hair. But I do know the demons are real. They are real. Just as sure as I am sitting here right now tonight in front of you, they exist because I have seen them and met them face to face. I have seen what they've done. Jessica knows. Jessica has seen what demons can do to people. A lot of us out there, we have seen what demons can do. They are real, folks. We can tell you that for sure. I don't know about the other stuff because I haven't met one. When I meet one of these praying mantis aliens, I'll tell you, okay? But until then, my friend, I got to tell you this. I can only tell you what I know to be absolutely 110% real. Take my word for it. Demons and fallen angels exist. Because I have met with one time. I want to tell you something about these demons and fallen angels. They can look like the Greys. They can look like any gosh darn thing they want to. Do you understand what I'm telling you here tonight? They are twisting your perception. Have you been listening? Don't believe everything you see and told, my friends. There's a lot of hanky-panky going on here, okay? There's a lot of hanky-panky going on with us. They're doing a lot of stuff to us, man. I'm serious. And we got to be on the ball about this, okay? We got to be careful. I'm just trying to tell you what you need to hear and what you need to know, okay? I'm trying to equip you for the battle that you're going to have to face. I'll tell you something else. These fallen angels and demons, they have ships. They have technology. They have a shadow science, my friends. A dark alchemy, a black magic. This is the worst thing you could possibly imagine. It's doing things to a lot of human beings and all this other stuff. I'm not going to get further into that tonight. This stuff is real, okay? Trust me. It is 110% real. That's all I can tell you. I'm telling you, I can only tell you what I know to be true, okay? And these things can approach you in many different ways. So be careful. Be very, very careful. Don't be deceived. Okay? Be very careful. But I've had a lot of people over to me come to you, have counsel. I have counseled people many, many times over the years about these things. They want to know, what is this? What's approaching me? What's happening? What are they trying to do to me? It's best if you don't understand what's going on, reach out to someone who can help you. Okay? Don't try to fight it alone if you don't know what's going on. Okay? Try to get you some help. The more we band together, and the more we understand this, the better we will be if we can help each other out. Okay? That's, I said this to a friend of mine the other day. If we can't help each other, what's the point? If we can't be there for each other, what is the point? Huh? What are we here for? If we can't be there for each other, what are we here for? We're missing the mark. We're missing the mark. Let's not do that. Okay? Let's work on that. Absolutely. Absolutely. We got to understand that and go with that. 110%. But I appreciate you all being here tonight. And it's very interesting. So watch out for those blue people out there in the woods. And remember, the Appalachians is a very, very strange and mystical place. And I think there's a lot of reasons, more than one, for it being that way. And a lot of us in the South, we live very close to the Appalachians. So we definitely know what's going on with that. And we understand what the real deal is with it. Absolutely. But I want to give a shout out to my show tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be doing a show tomorrow with Chantel on Aquarius Rising. I will be talking about 1816, the year without summer. No sunshine, folks. And will we have another one like it? I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow. Don't miss it. That was the year Frankenstein was born, and maybe even Dracula. We'll talk about that too. So that's going to be interesting. That'll be tomorrow at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Aquarius Rising Africa. Okay? Check it out. And we will be back hopefully Friday night with Paranormal Point of View. I will be talking about my friend D.A. Winesong's new book coming out. Winesong's got a book coming out, and I will be doing the foreword on it. I have been honored that she came to me wanting me to do the foreword on it, and it's about vampires, by the way, and it will be out next month. So we're looking forward to that. I'll be talking about that some more. Friday night on Paranormal Point of View. Okay? Stay safe out there. Be careful. Be be aware. Be a werewolf, okay? You're all members of my wolf tribe. So that should make you a werewolves too, okay? All right. So definitely. But be careful out there and take care of yourselves. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of this week. Until we get back together again Friday, maybe. And until then, take care of yourselves out there. And I appreciate all of the support you've shown me tonight very much. It is very much appreciated. Thank you so very much for all that you do. And to help us here at Hunting the Shadows, we're going to keep hunting those shadows, folks. As long as there's one breath left in my body, I'm going to keep hunting the shadows. And I want you with me. I want you at my side and at my back, okay? Because I feel better that way, okay? Absolutely. Each and every single one of you are a member of the team, okay? Don't you forget that. You are a member of the team, a member of the wolf pack here. And that's the way we like it, and that's the way we want it. The strength in numbers, my friend. Strength in numbers. And if we stick together, we'll be all right. That's the one thing we got to remember about the future. We stick together. We got to hold the line. We got to hold the line, okay? And be careful out there. And walk in the light, okay? Don't let fear rule your lives, okay? Faith over fear, my friends. Fear is the weapon they use. Don't fall for that bunch of junk. Don't be afraid. There's no need to be afraid. There's no reason. That's going to work against you. Be brave. Be brave. Be smart. Don't be scared. Be smart. And be brave. That's what it's going to take, because we can get this one. We can win this battle. Okay? Absolutely. And that's the way we need to live our lives. We need to live our lives that way. So, take care of yourselves, and until we get back together again, my friends, be careful. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep an eye on that 6, okay? And Godspeed, and remember, Godspeed to you all, and remember this. Embrace the mystery. And I will see you in the shadows. The hunt has begun. Hunting the shadows.